Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation, because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. That's a people day. Make him a throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear not hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside and rub and cheat, and not press the poor. Make up what I seen him. Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. My favorite part: if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day them can sell out Rasta and sell it out and sell out Babylon. They give man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead can sell out Rasta and sell out and sell out Babylon. Yes, stop on the Friday. You might throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black thing! You might throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. You have eyes to see, let him see. You have ears to hear, let them hear. What a prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one. Big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what's a black? Big him and throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
Stevie dim day. We in global TV says certain kind of friend we no keep, and some informer friend we love lake. We in global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in global TV. Check it.
Good afternoon from London. Good morning to you on the Eastern timeline. I do believe it's still morning time for you. You might be asking yourself, what is he doing out here at this ungodly hours of the day? I had appointment this morning. I will be having several medical consultation before surgery. I'm even given the date for pre-operative assessment, but not the surgery date yet. So I'll be having quite a few of these. So I had one of my consultation today as well. And I'm going to give you a bit of, in my case, good news information from that. To my community of part and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome one and all. Thank you for joining us. Like and share the live, please. I know there won't be many of you expecting me to be out here this time. And to those of you who are not getting notification, it really has nothing to do with us. It's how YouTube operate as well, because it's the same thing with me. I'm not getting notification from Carlos platforms anymore. So it's just how YouTube operate. And I even try the unsubscribe and resubscribe, and it is still not. So that is something that we really do not have any control over. Michael Nepper, how are you? Sunshine, Judy Roberts, Miranda Ruddock, Norman Ferguson, Debbie and Duncan, Marvelly Mills. Who else is here? Good afternoon, good morning, and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Let me say before, because I'm not out here to do Alfie, an official program. Just because I never come on last night, I never come on time this morning because of my appointment, and then missed the breaking news of the crisis in early childhood education. I'm not really going to bite Dana Dixon's head off this morning, because this is not Dana Dixon's problem, really. It is something inherited by Dana Dixon. So I really won't be eating off Dana's head this morning. Marjorie, how are you? But since I've even before I told you about my diagnosis, once they started that particular investigation, even before they gave me the diagnosis, I changed my diet in some ways and introduced herbal medication in my diet. Not herbal medication that you would buy over the counter, the bush them that we would boil and drink. So I'm on that regime from the first week of May. I've started that regime from the first week of May. And I'm going to run the regime for 6 months before I speak properly on any positive benefits. But because something for me has been identified by the system science, then I can speak about it. I've been on herbal medicine that, we boil, we bush them, and we drink it, a combination of herb and spice, anti-cancer, anti-inflammatory, and they come with several different added vitamin and mineral, depends on the type of bushes that you would use, or the type of spices that you would use. last June, when they did my blood work, my cholesterol level was 5.3, and my hospital doctor wrote to my general practitioner to put me on statin. I was pushing back on that. Then my general practitioner did a blood work in March of this year, and my cholesterol at that time was 8.1. And my practitioner wanted to put me on the medication. I went on the herbal then, but I removed like the dairy, and all of those contributory product to cholesterol. Then I have removed. Then I went on the herbal, as I say, in early May, and I did a blood work in June, early June. The blood work was on the 2nd. My cholesterol is now down to 4.9, which is in normal range without taking any medication from the system or so on for that. Not just my cholesterol, I've seen other positive effects since I've been on that regime. However, I'm not going to speak about it until the 6-month timeline, which I'm using to judge how the different feeling in my body or what it changes or correct. I'm giving a 6-month timeline for that. But when you're doing this, you have to do it in a regime, not just drink the bush when you feel like it. You have to be on it just like you're on a medication regime morning and before bedtime. So I'm continuing with that, and I'll wait until 6 months before I speak further on some other positive signs that I'm seeing. But as I say, I'm giving it more time to work and to judge and to see how it progresses. But as to my cholesterol, that has come back into normal range without taking any medication from the system in relation to that. So that is good news on my part for that. So I'm continuing the regime, really. Even if I have to have the surgery, then my body will be in a better position healing wise. And overall, all of my bloods were doing good so far. So that's something positive from the bush. Right. There's an article in the Gleaner. Poor old Favor. But it's not a surprise, is it? Not many of you would be surprised that education has failed so dismally. Early childhood education, Miss Williams, if we don't get it right at the early childhood level, they will struggle, if not all the way through the education process. They will have a long struggle, Miss Williams, before they can pick up. Would you expect Miss Williams to recognize that? If Miss Williams is still at the elementary level, as a Minister of Government, Education Minister, former, and now Minister of Finance, at elementary level reading, then it wouldn't be, it shouldn't surprise us that Faval has not spotted that the children She ain't reading better than the 4-year-olds who are failing, Miss Williams. You wouldn't be able to spot it because you see where you had was okay. You see yourself as reached to the top doing nothing, Miss Williams. Nothing. It's a pity how you got there. You see, this is how corruption works in our country. You can't even get to power without being able to read. We've seen it. It's plain, glaring in the Jamaica Labour Party. You can get to power without being able to read. So it shouldn't surprise us that Favour wouldn't have spotted, even after the Patterson's report and her failure to implement recommendations of the Patterson's report, she would recognize what on earth is going on. Listen to Favour. This is reading, you know. I read Favour, I read. Make it pain on her ears because I read, she read. She was the education minister since Warrell Thief, the things them until Nigel Clark this mash up the country and decide to jump ship. This is the education minister reading. Because this is not Dana's fault, you know. As much as Dana had sick with stomach, when I got jarred off this morning.
He said, that said on the Western is a safe city for PNP. In 2025, that is only PNP PR message. The last don't hear them out any longer. Because of what's the record? In 1993, the PNP had about 12,000 voters. People actually voted for them. In the general election in 1993, in 2020, I can tell you, only 50% of that number voted for them. Their voter base has 55 instead of the Western. It's almost 45-50%. If you go to Wikipedia, I'm sure you know what Wikipedia is, and type in on the Western, it will tell you that Anthony Hilton was elected member of parliament for the TNP, and during his tenure is being a cabinet minister. That same Wikipedia will tell you that I take no pleasure in saying because the people who live.
Why wouldn't we be in crisis as a country? We heard her reading at the budget presentation. She was reading during that presentation, if you want to call it that. Why would our country not in an educational crisis? Why wouldn't we be failing? If this was all that we could put up as an education minister for years, one who cannot read past the elementary grade 5 level, that was the education minister in our country. And you expect us not to be failing? I mean, under the Holness regime, failure is a deliberate thing. But when you observe Favour, this is not just deliberate, this is just natural. Failure comes with the lady, isn't it? Have you ever heard Favour present himself like him eat since morning? Good God Almighty. Harvard graduate. We are taught at university in presentational skills, miss, so on and so forth. And you come out here, man, you come out here hungry, weak, hungry. But then I hit make you dance because you're hungry. Can't me here day now walk and pick up Mark Golden and Damian Sinting them and a run with it. Me hear Andrew pick up Mark Golden. Andrew! Make I call out your name like London 45. Mr. Holness! Me hear say I'm beryllium in a business. How kind of business you beryllium in a Andrew? Andrew Holness! Me hear say I'm beryllium in a some dirty corrupt business. Me hear say the money for buy and steal the election, you already start give it out to beryllium for clear checks for your Andrew Holness. Andrew, what kind of check you send a beryllium for change for buy election Andrew Holness? Jamaica, Andrew Holness and beryllium. Andrew Holness and beryllium in a some dirty money laundering dealing for steal the Mark Golden. Yes, beryllium in the steal as well. Stop the steal. Type in the chat. Stop the steal. Yes, beryllium and Andrew Holness. Bird fly past the house. Yes, Andrew. Bird. I say you. I send over some check over beryllium for beryllium. Clear. So you use the dirty money to go buy the election Andrew Holness. Out of where them check their clear out, is it out of the public purse, Andrew Holness? Or out of the COVID money or out of the burial money? Stop the steal. So beryllium is in the plot to steal the general election. They look like Glean and Dan and this me in a hit too, but me now go turn the labor right then. Me go make a fool Dan and this. And Glean a fool Andrew make case and call the election. I could get rid of them teeth in backside. I could get rid of the teeth. I could get rid of the teeth. I just want the teeth to believe Dan Anderson. Make we get rid of the teeth, but back to the dunce. Is it surprising that early childhood education is in dire crisis 4 years after the Patterson report? Is it anything surprising when you have a minister of education that even if you put her in a wet, soaking wet paper bag, burst a hole in it, Favor would still struggle to get out? That's how dunce. How do you get in a power? You see corruption? Every other crime falls under the umbrella of corruption. How you get there, Favor? I mean, George Wright got there, but not so high. George Wright got there, but not so. And we know George Wright can't talk out and God-given mouth just like you. But I mean, George Wright stayed, Lord Jesus, in our country. And when we talk, them cuss we, and them don't see the danger that lie ahead. So Flight Green tell the people at Southwest St. Elizabeth, say, in deliver water to them, you know. Flight Green saying deliver water to the citizens of Southwest St. Elizabeth. I mean, here Southwest St. Elizabeth come ask Flight Green, what did you all stand and piff at all of us gate? Because that's the only thing Mr. Green could be talking about when Mr. Green saying deliver water to the citizens. Look at Mr. Green, walk away gate and piss at night time. Let's fumble through this article. I don't read it full yet, so I don't know how badly written it is. If them over the Glean are right as bad and horrible as those lot over the Observer, which it is hard to follow what they're talking about. Let's look at the disgrace in early childhood education under the Andrew Holness regime. The revelation by this newspaper that nearly 4 in 10, 38% of Jamaican 4-year-old logged on developmental milestone for their age raises serious question of what has happened in early childhood development education in the 4 years since the Patterson report, and if in fact the problem has grown worse. If the latter is indeed true, it is not only Trisha Williams Singh, the chair of Early Childhood Education Commission, ECC, who must urgently offer an explanation for this turn of affairs, but also the former Minister of Education, Medusa Favor Williams, and her successor, Dana Morris Dixon. I'm not going to put much blame on Dana Dixon here, because whatever bangarang is coming out now, Miss Dixon inherited it. It wouldn't be fair for me to throw any blame at her. What she must do, what I think Miss Morrison must do, is be honest, Miss Morrison. Honesty is what I would throw at Miss Morrison here. Be honest with us and tell us the exact state of early childhood education and what has not done that could have been done, Miss Dixon. That is what I will charge you with at the moment. I don't even know what to say to Medusa. I don't know what to say to Medusa because it may take us forever to get an answer from her. For if this is that the availability of resources is part of the problem, and Holness, funding, preventing a frontal attack on the issue in early childhood sector, the policymaker, the ministry, the policymakers say say why they have not embraced or don't fancy the funding solution process by the Patterson report, channeling the portion of more than 12 billion Jamaican dollars in payroll taxes received annually by HEART and NSTR, trust whatever it name, the government skill agency to early childhood education. So they are saying that 12 billion in payroll taxes received annually by Heart Trust and all of that money ought to be channeled to early childhood education. So them now there's funding and resources look like it's a major problem for early childhood education. So the government no business with early childhood. Patterson Commission was a high-powered group led by celebrated Jamaican sociologist and Harvard University professor Orlando Patterson, that was appointed by Prime Minister Andrew Holness to recommend ways to transform Jamaica's failing education system. Now, Jesus, and I answer Andrew this morning. The commission, of which Dana Morrison Dixon was a member before she entered politics. So, Ms. Dixon, there could be some blame leveled at you here because you been in government for some time and you who was on the commission could advise the dunce Medusa, shouldn't you? Ah, Jesus, in our country. In our country. Continue reading. Everything in our country get worse. Every time you look, something get worse in our country. I don't know if you see the trend. Under Holness, every look, you just bat your eyelid, and when you and when it open back, see if something will get worse. The commission at the time stressed that the foundational early childhood development sector was one of the areas to which significant attention was paid, precisely for the reason it was foundational and had received too little focus in early reform process. Oh, am I there? In early reform reports, rather. In its report on Sunday, on Sunday, on Sunday, on the 20th, in its report on Sunday, on the 2024 Jamaica School Readiness Assessment, JSRA, which tests the development of 4-year-olds of their readiness for school environment. The Gleaner disclosed that 54% of the 29,729 children who were tested met the crucial development milestone for their age. However, 11,000, I don't know if I call them, I don't know, so I don't know the number. About 11,2191, I don't know if I call that. 11,000, that are not 11,000. I don't know, anyway. I don't know, so when it comes to number, I may not understand them. So that is 39%. That is a bit of 39% who failed to meet the requirement of the test. That is that it appears is short-handed to say that on that basis of the administrative test, these kids did not meet the expected developmental standard. They were referred for secondary screening, including 7.5% who were recommended for classroom monitoring. By any measure, having approximately 4 in 10 children of a country, and especially one that is not at war, Andrew Holness, failing to meet the age group requirement, the age group development criteria ought to be a matter for deep concern. Not just that, it ought to be a big disgrace of Andrew Holness' tenure for 10 years. But then again, why would it? Why would it? Which department have gone through the battery and treachery of stealing like the Ministry of Education? Indeed, most global surveys suggest that up to 15% of children under age 5 may have difficulties in one or more areas of development. However, the Australian Early Childhood Development Census, AEDC, which broadens the scope of the analysis, is to include the community relation information. Sorry, shows that up to 24% of preschoolers can face developmental vulnerabilities. Notable in Jamaica, the latest school readiness assessment was that of the children flagged for further screening, 61%, 6,847, indeed, needed support for all development domain. That is 23% of the entire cohort. In contrast to the JSRA for last year, the Patterson Commission, which reviewed the 2019 tests, found that 11 developmental problems inquired of 2/3 of children, 67.3%, had no developmental concern. If the tests remained consistent since Patterson report, the latest outcome 4 years later would on its face suggest that 12.9% point drop in readiness. So rather than we improve them, we decrease them. Lord Jesus, Andrew Holness, and you ask for third term. Assess yourself, Nabas, and resign and step down for health reasons or so. Tell some lie, you're good at it. It is the reason why this government continue to come back after so many years of failure to be blaming the PNP for things they promised us that they would patch up. Continue. In the Patterson report, just shy of a fifth, 19.2% of children had at least one developmental concern. That assuming the same thing had been measured compared with near doubling 38% in the latest analysis. The bulk of Jamaican early childhood institutions are the community-based basic schools. While they receive some government support, these schools / daycare operate often under-resourced, which I know to be true, lack enough critical material for stimulation of children, as well as too few trained teachers. The physical environment, too, is often inadequate. At the time of the Patterson report, half of registered ICI didn't meet the Early Childhood Commission standard for full registration. No recent similar analysis is available on the Commission website. Once before she left the Education Ministry, Favour, who now the Minister of Finance, floated the idea of a government takeover of basic school system to bring to meaningful address in resource issues. But neither Ms. Williams nor other minister follow up on the matter. Promises, 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 and many of it. However, highlighting at the time low graduation rate from HEART program, as well as the range of vocational training institutions in the island, the Patterson Commission suggests Jamaica could benefit by taking legal measures to redeploy funding earmarked for HEART to more formative level for the educational system, which to say early childhood. No one understand why Andrew keep pushing HEART, because it look like Andrew can get for thief the money HEART and NST or whatever it name, because Opa thief in a go around a corner. That's so. Because Patterson asked them to divert some of the money from this, so. Because Patterson say, even though you train the people, them, you not provide them no job or anything meaningful for them go to. So divert some of that money where you waste over this, so, because that's why you have to continue, because you say a waste, into early childhood education, where it would be meaningful, because foundational education and the wholeness. Foundational, if you understand the word and the wholeness, because you do a lot of building, don't you? So you should understand the word foundation. And if the foundation don't good and stable Andrew Holness, rickety kitty up at top, just so you know. No, don't understand why Andrew Holness a push. Remember, say heart NST trust the OBM office. Don't. Jesus Christ, I'm on your teeth, no blood clot. Pardon me. Anyway. However, oh no, we read a paragraph there already. The government never publicly rejected the recommendation, except that it expand heart offering and made its program totally free. Some students also receive stipend. Perhaps it is time for full discussion on the Patterson Commission. No to our head clock, don't cuss. No, we are going to make sure the PNP implement Patterson, the article end there. So we don't want nothing from labor rights. We don't want nothing from labor rights. We are clear on that as a country. What we are going to ask the People's National Party to do is to implement the recommendations of Patterson report. Raymond G., Abina Sarkodie, Hono do, everybody do, Renice Nicholson, Lynette Jenkins. What we are going to ask the PNP to do is to implement the Patterson report. Cut the money from where Andrew have it when he can steal it from upper Archers and NST or whatever it name. Because I know say all of that up in an Andrew office, and I know what in an Andrew office, I'll be a thief and going up there. So we're going to ask the People's National Party to detour the money we are waste up there so to where it needed most in early childhood education, where it is needed, where it would benefit the country, especially the educational reform that Mark Golden explained to us that he will undertake during his budget presentation. So this is something that we are given what Damian Crawford explained already, where Dana take up say she are going to do. She are going to feed. No, why we not do it now, Dana? Because you were on the commission. That's why Dana need. Come here, Dana. We need to draw off your wig a bit. Because you were on the Patterson Commission before you came to government. And you knew, Miss Dixon, that nutrition, resources, these were all problems identified in the Patterson Commission. Why now? Mark Golden talk about it, Dana. Una ready for do it? When una have L.A. Lewis picnic and part program, when L.A. Lewis a walk and dash with money, and people whose children should be on the parts program couldn't get on it. How come, Dana Dixon, you who was on the commission, you who even before becoming Minister of Education should be advising Dol Doris? Because Dol Doris came out last year and tell us something or other about the Patterson report, you know. I don't remember, going to have to look back for the video, but Dol Doris, that video would be on either PBCJ or JIS. But Dol Doris on screen, they did something last year, she and Kassan Chope and some rather than another, about the Patterson report. While all this time, but then again, as I said, well, we are surprised over everything about Favor Williams is a failure. And if she's put in a position, whatever she has steered, it is going to be a failure. The failure here is Andrew Holness, who lacks the skill of positioning, or lack the competency as an executor who ought to place people in position of competency, Prime Minister. It's not just put them there. We're not dealing with casket here, Prime Minister, which you just place a body there. It's a casket, you just place body. Positioning, Prime Minister, organizational positioning, where people are placed in their competences. You know, like Dr. Tufton, if you had placed him at tourism, he would be in a more competent position because tourism does take a lot of PR and marketing. The criminal who imports the many guns into Jamaica, Dr. Chang, hundreds of it by container. If you had put that moron over Ministry of Health, it would have been a more competent base position, Prime Minister. You see, Andrew Holness lacked a lot of skills. My God, only if he would take advice. But then again, Bully don't really listen to nobody because them think them know everything and them better than everybody and all sort of it. That's how bullies behave. It is why everything popped down around you in Andrew Holness. Because you want to control people. So you put dunce in areas where they're unable to perform. So thereby you can control them. Your grab for money and power has allowed you to destroy a party and a country. And you have taken so many people credibility with you, Prime Minister. I mean, I don't know how they just stood by so shamelessly and allow you to destroy their credibility like that. Because it's up to you to do whatever you want with the rotten one that you have, Prime Minister. But to have destroyed so many fools along with you. Is the Prime Minister still a married man? Does anyone know if the Prime Minister is still a married man? First Lady, silent though, if there's ever one in this country. First Lady is very, very silent. Now, when Damian Crawford are going to have hell when Damian Crawford come about here, because Damian Crawford is going to have a lot of work to do, an awful almighty lot of work to do. But Damian, we not go easy up. We tell you say, on a free run is 100 days. One, I hope you don't slip up in the 100 day, 100 days. But it's going to be a task because the mash up bit with the PNP left, Andrew Holness mash up in Rosara. So it's a rebuilding. Does. Hey, I feel you walk cut out. I feel you walk cut out. Your work. Because you see, a country where its education and healthcare has failed, it's a country on a road to nowhere. Sick people, uneducated people, recipe for disaster. Recipe for disaster. Sick people, brainwashed people, tribal people, recipe for disaster. And I ever wonder why Andrew tried to mash up the country the way he does? Barbara Simpson, how you do? Chelsea Clinton. And I ever wonder why Andrew was working him way up to a rebellion in the country, To take over the reins of the country. You have failed in everything you have done, Andrew Holness. Even in your lying and stealing, you have failed. No other government, only Donald Trump, the only government which is subvert their constitution is Donald Trump. Nobody else does it other than Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. Which other government, Andrew Holness, you know to be in contention with the Constitution like Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu? The narcissists, the malignant narcissists, the cancerous spread that you all are. Can I can say Andrew Holness, Netanyahu, Donald Trump, you are all cancers. Malignant at that, on spread and spread fast too. Jamaica, though, will be given a chance to do a full nephrectomy of Andrew Holness. Remove him from the political land space of our country. You all have failed. Mr. Minister Green come out singing Barbarella Pachu. What have you done, Floyd Green? What have you done? Can you not tell we yet? And you're all coming back to blame the PNP. You're all coming back to blame the PNP without being able to point to something that UNO have done. Look at education in our country. Look at education. In our early childhood, in this country, government put much money into these areas. Our government, a lot of we basic school them, if you don't know, they're run by funding from the community and the parents. And most of you Jamaican parents know this as well. Which is where our money should be going into to make sure, say, when we children them left basic school, they're above standard. When we didn't have pre-trained teacher, we never even got university. We didn't have higher educational standard. We have fallen behind. Because who no run way, no really care anymore. Because there's no incentive to teach anymore. Of course, there's a lot of people there with the passion who would teach for free. But of course, them live, them wear, and them eat. Which the teaching profession in Jamaica not really help them to do, if the truth be told. That's why so much of them are run go foreign. That's why so much of them are run come here, come meet bad life. It's not a sweet and dandy when them come here, but the opportunity and upscaling their knowledge and a better return, financial return on their training, where they can see themselves as society taught us to move in the upward mobility, the middle class range, like, take out the mortgage, take the credit card and the finance the car and go on the holidays and have the lot of debt and then swan around the village and say, oh, I live in a 3-bedroom detached house and I have this. And it's the middle class lifestyle as society taught you to. But it's the indebted lifestyle which society don't remind you about. Our teachers are running away, Andrew Holness, because you have failed to remunerate them properly. You have failed to give them the resources. You have taken out prayer and discipline out of education. You have taken out reading out of our schools, Prime Minister. What have you not done to destroy the education system in our country? While you, at the same time, were upscaling your knowledge at the expense of the Jamaican people. Dr. the Honorable of Law and Policy, DLP Holness. All on our expense, while you fail to implement the Patterson Report, while you fail to bring legislation to deploy money from Upper Heart Trust, where you thief it to the foundational education into our early childhood, what you fail to do, Prime Minister, you are a failure. If you have not heard it before, you're hearing it here for the first time. We have never seen such a failure in our country as we are seeing under your leadership. What we call mammoth failure, Prime Minister. High-level incompetency. I wouldn't trust you to stand at the barn and look after my fucking animals, because you do a horrible job at everything. Could I trust you to steal? Only if me no want on a hit. Only, Prime Minister, if me no want on a hit. That's the only way I would trust you to steal. Because I mean, way I got to take it all for yourself. But if me no want on, then of course I can trust you to steal, because you're damn well good at that. You're not a good liar. You're not a good liar. The same old recycled lie that we all know about. You're not a good liar. You're a damn good thief. Not even good enough a thief as well, because they always get catch. Mind you, good thief don't get catch. Good thief, you're going to have to go blame somebody else to whether thief the thief, but you're not going to know say the thief it. So you're not really good at nothing. Greed? Yes. He's probably good. He's good at greed. That's what his track record shows, isn't it, Prime Minister? You are controlled by greed and Holness. It is why you control so much ministry in our country. The Prime Minister, the Minister of Defense, the Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, the Minister of Housing, the Minister of Water, the Minister of the National Works and Agency. Jesus Christ Almighty God, how much different nimble fad you go have you, not to mention the countless agencies you have over there, Heart, NSTA, NEPA, the Electoral Commission, the Ombudsman. I mean, the country's been run out of your pocket from a mobile phone, isn't it? The country is being run from a mobile phone. Why don't you think then Jamaica should turn into the gimmickry that Andrew Holness has turned our country into? You see, us, the Jamaican people, we are going to suffer. Oh, yes. Until we wake up and smell the coffee and realize that those above Crossroad are already fucking sipping it. You may want to have a sip of the coffee as well. But if you just lay down there asleep, I go on so. Them lot uptown are going to finish the coffee. So you have to wake up and smell it even before you can get a taste of it. The uptown start sip it already. We are sleeping dead, my people. We are not concerned about what's going on around us. The issue around us is not our great concern, the mix-up. We are concerned about the mix-ups in society, not the issues that really matters, though, which we really should be concerned about. Which these are the things that are really holding our country back. Look at how disgraceful we went on for KFC the other day. We queued across the whole country to place ourselves in a death trap. But when we all heard that the government, through its incompetence, inadequacy, and deliberate criminality, is murdering 15,000 of us on an annual basis, and none of you came out. And look on come out for the piece, the chicken, where they in a container for weeks, a jiff. Look on the line up at KFC and wall and go on like a hog in a mud other evening. Look on the one for the chicken with the pan see a jiff for weeks where KFC take up flour go no. How would you expect a government to treat you, the citizens, any better when you, the citizen, the hungry citizen, the citizen who don't have water, the citizen who don't have light, the citizen who cannot afford the high cost of living, and the government rolled up and buy you KFC and give you a $5,000, and you gave your children future to the government for just $5,000, not even enough to buy a good night dinner. $5,000, and you gave up your children's future for that. Why would you expect a government to treat you like somebody who wants something, or somebody for that matter who deserves something? People treat you how you present yourself to them, and they treat you how you want to be treated. You see, once you engage the government cheap and poor and downtrodden, is exactly how the government is going to treat you. So all when me poor and butterfoot, I'm going to behave like I'm in the upper class, because that's what they recognize. You see, you have to climb the ladder to reach the mango, isn't it? Or otherwise you got to throw a stone at it. If you continue to approach the government hungry, the government don't see the need of giving you more than KFC. But if you approach the government classy, the government might know that you want a job or want to operate a business, isn't it? Stop selling yourself cheap, Jamaicans. Then expect that when government come in a power, government for all you know upon revere you know. After government buy you know, for $5,000, you know want government for cheat you know good. What can go so? Government already knows so not put no value upon yourself. The minute you can take $5,000 from the government and give him you and your children democracy and the future, the government automatically know you don't want anything. So why should or why would the government do anything The government is interested in money and power. The government pay you to help him to get there. He has gotten there. He owes you nothing. So if you want to get something out of it, it have to be a social agreement between you and the politician, not a financial transaction. A financial transaction is business. You have a vote, he buy it, you sell it, business done. Move on. Stop arguing with politicians when you sell your vote. It was business. They owe you nothing. If you want to hold them to it, what you ought to do is to have a social contract with them. I vote for you and you provide me X, Y, Z during that tenure. If you don't, you will not be going back for the next term. That's the social contract. And then they will have to work for it. But when they know that they can come and buy you, they really don't have to do anything. Stop selling yourself cheap. Stop growing, making yourself look poor and cheap. Stop it. Them now go cheat no good. If you don't value yourself, what you think people are going to value you? Lay down and roll out and say if people want to pass now, go step over you, you damn fools. Of course, I want to pass. I'm going to step over you. I'm telling you, lay down there, roll, and you feel like that, not a roll. Me, I go about my business. Stepping over you is a way to pass. I'm going to do it. It's what our politicians really does to us. And we dance and we fool. And we beggy and we wanga got and we licky Jamaican people. Can we change it for the upcoming general election? We have the power to. Are we going to take meaningful decision in the interest of our children? Or we just gonna go for the belly full again? But if we don't vote for the belly full, nyam the belly full, and anybody it maga, it pop off, but don't come back out to come complain. If you want to choose Andrew Holness for your third term, you are going to live with him. You are going to go hell with him, but you are not going to bury side of him because you are not going to afford that funeral unless you are not thief like him. I mean, no have so much finger. Jamaica people must wake up. Wake up. We can't get up every day, blame politicians and not blaming the people. What is our responsibility? Politician job is to commit crime, to be corrupt, to steal. What is your job, Jamaicans? To protect them, to cover for them, to sell them your rights and your democracy cheap? We can't continue to blame them. And every cycle, we get up and do Wasara. We need to be a policy-orientated people. I think that's the direction that Mark Golden wants to take the country in. I would welcome that. I welcome their reform for education. I welcome their reform to rediverting NHT to its intended purpose. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I welcome from Mark Golden's budget presentation. But we still have to wait to see them come in and implement them. But certainly, this government who have been there for 9-10 years and has done nothing, coming back with the promises and the blame game again, Is that what you deserve, Jamaica? Is that what you would vote for? Is that what you want to leave for your children? Is that what you think is best to pass down to your children? Failure after 9 years and then promise to patch it in 5 years? The mathematics of Andrew Holness and the mental gymnastic of the Jamaica Labour Party. Andrew Holness has left you all nothing to defend. Dan Anderson said, the other lead, take courage, Prime Minister. Prime Minister, please take courage. You're leading in the polls. Take courage in that. You're still a duck and dive, and you're certain of your third term. I know that you're going to go to hell. Benjamin Netanyahu will be. Donald Trump will be. That's not my concern. Prison is my concern, Prime Minister. That bother me. Coming out in the triano, I go to prison. I don't think you all criminals will be going to prison. And that's what bothers me. That you will not see your day in front of a judge on the many crimes that you have committed against the people of Jamaica. That is something that will grieve my heart into eternity, Prime Minister, because we have never come across anything like you before. Reckless, shameless. It is your leadership style. Recklessness and shamelessness.
Oh, thy peace, God of my salvation. Because the mouth of the sinful and wicked is open. Rastafari. Come with I. Rastaman throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Not a people there. Make him a throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Only when man like Marcus Garvey speak, wicked men would I hear. Hear now hear. Instead of that, they only sit aside and rob and cheat, and not press the poor. Make out what I seen him. Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a plan! Make him a throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. So, my favorite part, if Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the day them can sell out Rasta and sell it out. I sell out Babylon. They give man throw one stone, and they bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. They give man throw one stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. If Rasta make a progressive move, wicked men are red. How they want to see the dead can sell out Rasta and sell out. I sell out Babylon. Yes, stop on the Friday. You must throw a stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Oh, what a black thing. You must throw a stone, and prophet must say. President Mandela was in prison for 20 odd years. And he leave from the prison and take the seat of the president. Stone one, big man Joe and Stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Turn, oh what a black big man Joe and Stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men. Rastaman Joe and Stone, and it bring a bad feeling to all wicked men.
Just imagine all the things that under Holness government can be doing, rolling out, finding land to, finding money to do. Imagine St. Thomas videographer held after imitation firearm held at his home. I wonder if it's that guy who had the problem with the police. I'll look into that article later. Real Cobra pollution case against Wisynco collapse. DPP explain why. If we can read the article, yeah. But remember say Andrew control, the same thing there and Nepa galang in it. Wisynco Group Limited has been freed of a pollution charge after the prosecution admitted it did not have enough evidence to link the manufacturing and distribution company to the release of the fluid in the Rio Cobre in July 2023. The company was charged under the Wildlife Protection Act. During a hearing in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Monday, it was revealed that the condition required for a successful prosecution has not been established. The Dunsole fucking parlor again. Hold on there. Assistant Director of Public Prosecution Dwayne Green told the court that among these things for a successful prosecution, the sources of the effluent would have to be manifestly clear. Presiding Judge Jeanette Smichael then informed Wisynco representative that the Crown was offering a no evidence in the matter. Hey, Andrew and Paula said, we have no evidence to prosecute you. Wisynco was represented by the attorney Stephanie Ibanks and Ronaldo Richards from the law firm Myers, Fletcher and Gordon. That law firm sounds familiar. Myers, Fletcher and Gordon. Myers, Fletcher and Gordon. Who else have they represented? I've heard this name before. Director of Prosecution Paula Llewellyn has issued a statement explaining the reason for the decision. The withdrawal of the pollution case against Wisynco marks the second time for the year that legal proceedings involving major corporate entity and Rio Cobre have ended without full ventilation of the issue in the courts. Last November, the National Resource Conservation Authority, which is a body under NEPA, and its administrative arm, the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, controversially resolved a similar case involving Tradewind Citrus through a confidential agreement. It sparked criticism and concern about transparency and accountability in the environmental enforcement. Statement, allegation 1. On the 18th day of July 2023, the National Environment and Planning Agency received information that there was a pipeline leak into the Rio Cobre River in the parish of St. Catherine in the vicinity of Dyke Road. The pipeline in question was owned by Wasinco Limited. Number 2, upon arrival at the site there where the pipeline was leaking, officers from NEPA observed that there was a pipeline that ran from the side of the river to the other. The said pipeline was used to connect two sides of the Wasinco plant. The officer observed that fluid was gushing from the pipeline into the river. They say the evidence wasn't manifestly clear. Number 3, a visit was then made to Wasinco plant where NEPA officer spoke to the plant manager. Upon arrival, it was discovered that the maintenance work was being carried out at the plant. The plant manager was then told of a break into the pipeline. He made a call and indicated that the pump would be turned off. The said officer outlined in her statement on file formed the opinion that the pipeline was recently commissioned and that Wasinco was not aware that there was a break in the pipeline. 4, a visit was made approximately 2 kilometers down the river where dead fish were seen on the banks of the river. The NEPA officer who had made the observation further indicated in her statement that the position of the dead fish did not look organic and that they were concerned in one small section along the river. Clarification sought from NEPA officer by the prosecutor revealed that fish appear to have been stocked on the riverbank. Stocked, S-T-A-C-K-E-D, stocked on the riverbank. NEPA then charged Wasinco for a breach in Section 11 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Section 11 of the Wildlife Protection Act states, notwithstanding anything to the contrary, every person who cause or knowingly permit to flow or put or knowingly permit to be put, whether directly or indirectly, any harbor, river, stream, canal, lagoon, or estuary containing fish, any trade effluent or industrial waste or sewage or noxious or polluting matters shall be guilty of an offense in this section and shall, upon conviction before a parish judge, be liable for a fine not exceeding $100,000. You see, all them people are blood clot wicked. $100,000 for one old big corporation. But make a did me and you million. Look how much we pay in a COVID. Are not exceeding a term of 2-year imprisonment or the fine and the prison together. The trial. On the 8th day of October 2024, the trial of the matter commenced in the St. Catherine Parish Court and was being prosecuted by NEPA pursuant to a general fiat, which had been granted by the Director of Prosecution, allowing NEPA to actively associate with the prosecution of the matter. On the 23rd of January 2025, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution commenced a review exercise of all the cases that NEPA had a general fiat to actively associate with the prosecution. Following the review of the Tradewind matter, the Director of Public Prosecution revoked the general fiat previously granted to NEPA and assigned an Assistant Director of Public Prosecution to the Crown Counsel to take over handling of the 7 cases of alleged environmental breaches that NEPA had in its case stock. Outcome of the review by the DPP. Having reviewed the statement on the file and sought clarity from NEPA's staff, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution observed the following. A. No sample of water were taken by NEPA from the river Brett, where the fluid was seen gushing into the river, for testing to be done to determine whether it fell within the definition of trade effluent, industrial waste or sewage, noxious or polluting matter. B. No sample was taken by NEPA from the source of the pipeline attached to Wisynco and was seen from the breakage in the pipe that was discharging fluid into the river, for testing to be done to determine whether it fell into that category. C. The substance that flowed through the pipe was never scientifically identified as a matter of law as a substance capable of falling within the definition of trade effluent, industrial substance, sewage, noxious or polluting waste, and therefore the prosecutor was not in any position to evidently prove that it was of such character and nature. D. On the prosecution's case, NEPA officer in her statement indicated that she formed the view that Wisynco was not aware that the pipeline was leaking fluid into the river. Remember, these people are working under Andrew Holness. The dead fish that were seen were not observed in the water of Rio Cobre, but were instead stuck along the bank of the river. No testing of the fish was done to determine what had caused their death. F. There was no testing of the water 2 kilometers downstream to ascertain if there were any pollutant present in the vicinity of the water, and if so, what pollutant was in fact, what pollutant it was. In fact, there was no testing of any potential affected of the Rio Cobra in relation to the investigation of the matter. In light of the observation mentioned above, the legal ingredient of the offense that had to be proved, bear in mind that the burden of proof rests with the prosecution, and the standard of proof, which is beyond reasonable doubt. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution conducted an evidential analysis to ascertain whether there was, in fact, a viable prosecution going forward. Listen, I'm done with this article. It's a long article. Long and short, everything under Andrew Holness' leadership is a failure. All of these environmental breaches with these multinationals, that all these cases are failing because the people who are working for Andrew Holness, they're not doing what they ought to be doing. Them just work with them so no other form of evidence. No testing was done of the water. No testing was done of the dead fish. Jamaica, it's an all-round failure. If you want to continue with the all-round failure, it's up to you. But the evidence is clear that everything done by this government, high-level failure is involved in it. Even though it's an unorthodox time for me, thank you all very much for turning up, because the crisis in our education system is a breaking news story. The government don't want to treat it like that, but it is really a breaking news story that after 9 years of government and after 4 years of the Alanda Patterson report, the early childhood education, the crisis has worsened. Thank you. Good morning and good afternoon from Global TV.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.